Hey, namaste, and welcome, 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 beloved ones, to our amazing and truly extraordinary May 2019 experience. I am Kira.
And I am SriRamKa. And we're delighted to be with you and to share with you the insights and the opportunities that are present for all of us who are on this path of rising energy and awakening.
You know, we wanted to start today with something a little different. This is the May Predictions Ascension Energy Forecast video. We are going into the core. This is a major moment. And the reason we want to start with something a little different is because for those of you who have known us for a while, you might say, wow, SriRamKa, you're looking a little different. Well, indeed, SriRamKa is about 40 pounds thinner than you might have seen him in the March video. And of course, as if you've been watching our videos, you did not see him in April, because in April, our illumination and illusion opportunity, our April 16 moment, came after Sri had two, not one, but two literal brushes with death, one of them creating an NDE experience. This happened within 3 weeks of each other. We want to share with you about this because it has, and I think that most of you who know us can already see it, it has had a profound expansionary energy around us. And we really wanted to share this with you because if you're connecting with us this month, if you're connecting with us for the first time, welcome. There is an energy present in you right now that is ready to expand. And for those of you that have known us, welcome. We are so grateful we are doing this together, for indeed we are all arising. May, we are going into the core. And to really understand that, Sri really, it's important you have a moment to just connect with Sri and what's happening from an energetic and global perspective. And then we'll jump right back into all of the massive May energies and predictions. So if you do not want to hear this part, we're going to put a timestamp right down here, and you can skip ahead right there to where just all the May stuff begins. However, give us a minute, because this is really important, and it is part of the May energy.
You know, one of the things that Kira and I are privileged to experience is we're out front experiencing these energies, getting acquainted with the energies before we share anything with you. We don't make this stuff up, we're living it. And part of the living it experience for me in April was this incredible, it wasn't an illness, it was an incident that brought me to the edge. And I think any one of you who's ever been brought to your edge, you know that when you come back with some form of spiritual gift. Now, in my case, what happened to me was this emergency surgery. And during this surgery, you know, it's one of those things in hindsight that I just am in awe that my wife was able to transit this, because the doctor came out 2 hours after I was in surgery saying, you need to go buy blood. We don't have enough blood here for a transfusion, and that he has a very slim chance of survival. So she was dealing with that incredible news that her beloved was right at the edge. My experience that I want to share with you is that in this April moment for me, which was this illusion or illumination moment, I found myself fully conscious, seeing the desperate state my body was in. And I was literally floating in another dimensional field. My body was in the distance. The earth plane was in the distance. There were all kinds of experiences that I will share with my students at another time. The glimpse I want to give you is I transited the bardo. I transited all the levels and the demonic levels and the incredible energies that would seek to ignite fear and cause a collapse. And in that transiting, I felt this light and illumination come in, and the clarity that I was given, you could call it illumination, you could call it clarity. I know that I had anchored in the truth of my core essence, And as I came back, more present to this dimensional energy, I was floating above this precious body who had undergone an extreme shock. And this body was about to give up. This body did not know how to keep going. And I was literally, during the first 12 hours in the ICU, I was resuscitating the body. I was massaging the heart, pushing on the lungs, breathe, because every time the alarm would go off in the ICU, the nurses would wait and see if it went critical, and I wouldn't allow them to get to that point because I didn't want any more drugs injected into the body. The body was very weak. And so I kept working with the body. Breathe, beat your heart, inhale, inhale. And during that time, I began to experience the connection of consciousness with energy, with form. Consciousness, energy, form. And that clarity of how to work with energy, how to work with consciousness to reshape the form that is existing in this dimension was a valuable, valuable gift that came forward. And I'm going to be sharing a lot of that information with the medical intuitive students coming up in May. The thing I want to impart to each of you is we are multi-dimensional beings. We are eternal essences. We are the formless, enjoying form. We are that which you have been seeking for your entire spiritual journey, and it's right here. We are at the cusp as a collective of anchoring the consciousness and the awareness that will ignite a whole new chapter. And we are in this, you could call it kind of slow motion happening. It's happening over a period of months and years. However, that's an eye blink. It is truly an instant. And so I, as a being, say to you, thank you for your love. Thank you for participating. And I'm here to share with you that which has been given to me.
And I think it's important, Sri, for people to understand that Sri Ramko went in, his first emergency surgery, they really didn't know what was happening. And when they opened him up, he had what's known as acute mesenteric ischemia. Go look it up. And essentially, the doctor, who was the head surgeon in a teaching hospital, told Sri afterwards, about a week later, he claimed, he shared with Sri, he said, in my 30 years, you're only the second person to survive this disease that I'm aware of at its critical state.
Yeah.
And it makes me lose my breath in my throat again. I can't even talk about it. But the walking miracle that Sri is a testimony to our commitment to the yoga of self-ascension. And just when he got out of the hospital, just when he was feeling okay, we started noticing a pattern of weakness. And within, 10 days after you were released
Not
from
even.
that? This was all in early April.
It was 5-6 days
He wound
after.
up back in the hospital, near death again. Both times I had been told he was less than 30 minutes from death. The second time, he had not one, but two pulmonary embolisms that had choked off 90% of his ability to breathe and needed procedures down his neck and things of that nature. So this is important, Sri, I think, for people to understand that this has been a moment for us to make a decision. Were we going to continue? Were we going to keep doing what we do? Is there is authenticity really alive on this planet? And what we know through the true resurrection, which was the April energy of this illumination or illusion through resurrection, is that we arced into the end of that first cycle within the cycle. And we're going to show you a whole diagram of the entire year. But it was on April 16 that you were released.
Yeah.
And that is
and that
a
was the
really
release
powerful,
of the retrograde.
and that was also the final release of that first cycle within the cycle. So we found that to be very profound as well.
And there's so much to share. I want to keep us focused on the May energies, but before we get back into that, resurrection is your natural state. Mm-hmm. Resurrection is that which is true, that is aligned with the creation energy of the universe becoming manifest in the dimension that you choose to interact in. If we're choosing to interact in this third dimensional form, we can resurrect and act here. We may resurrect our authentic energy in another dimensional experience that doesn't require this body. So keep an open mind.
Yeah, and so
and one more thing is You know, my beloved Kira and I have been doing this work, the yoga of self-ascension, for the last 17 years. And we have been gifted so many gifts from the archangelic realm and beyond that have helped ignite our consciousness and the recognition of what is the deeper level of truth. And the one thing I want to share with all of you that have joined us today is that Kira Ra exists primarily outside of this dimension. Her energy and her consciousness, there's just a piece of her here in third dimensional interactive reality, and the bulk of her capacity as a conscious being form is in the higher frequencies. And it's due to this dedication that she exhibits as an oracle, as a profound clairvoyant, and as a sincere heart that brings through a pure stream of information, that her commitment is what allows these monthly videos, these monthly predictions and sharings to come into form. And my role is that of the anchor. My role, I touch these dimensions with her, but she's definitely leading the way. And I'm helping her come back and say, hey, be with me here. Let's have some fun. You know, we still have this lifetime to enjoy. And so we have a synergy as a union soul, as a union couple. But I do want to share that the bulk of this information is first articulated through her capacity to straddle the dimensions. And it's an honor and it's an act of love for her to continue to offer this to all of us. And so I just want to say thank you, my love.
Well, and I want to say thank you for being on the planet. And we want to say thank you to all of you, because without you, we would not continue our journey right now.
No, we are so connected.
We are very connected. And it was the production of not one, but two bona fide miracles through the gift of this extraordinary community in April, that not only are we here in May, we feel that we are here in our resurrected space, in our post-April 16 moment, and invite you all to join us there as well. And so we thank you. We felt it was important to open up these first few minutes for you to understand how much is happening behind the scenes, because how many of you have had one heck of an April, right?
Yeah, a lot of folks have shared they've had physical issues or know people with physical issues. We have dear friends that have children that are having issues.
Lots of transitions, surprise transitions.
People, and so everyone is being affected by this energy that is bringing us to this core moment. And now we want to share more about that.
So here we are. We are at May 2019. Now, May 2019 is a very, very powerful moment, because May 2019 is where all of humanity is going into the core. Now, what is the core? We're going to talk about this in a moment. It's the C-O-R-E energy. However, every being is there, whether they like it or not, whether they know it or not, is irrelevant, because this has been the arrival into the core energy. And this has the potential to both implode and explode. It is its own breath. And right off at the top, we just want to encourage you. What helped Sri Ramka when he was sitting in the intensive care unit, when they honestly told me not to expect him to live, he was doing the Om Aum practice. And so please, if you have not yet downloaded our app, May is the month where you want to be in this core breath experience. And it's free, and it's in our free app, Spiritual Mastery with Sri and Kira. Get it.
Your breath is a gateway. Your breath is a key to working with the energies in this dimension and staying connected to a higher frequency.
Exactly.
It begins with the Om Aum practice, and we're going to be sharing more practices in the future.
And so with this May core energy, what's happening is that the energies are rising, but the energies are also seeking survival moments, meaning that everything has come to the core moment. And as I mentioned, we're going to explain what that means even more. So this arrival, this May arrival, is in preparation for the extraordinarily huge Ascension Frequency attunement that is coming in June. Now, why is that coming in June? Because we had the end of the first cycle within a cycle. As a matter of fact, let's pop up the graphic. So we're going to pop up the graphic right now. So the graphic you're looking at is showing you at the very beginning there, you see that first little blue arrow down at the bottom there. That's January, okay? And we're going all the way through December. So 2019, let us not forget, is the year of divine awareness. And so this May core issue will be your greatest challenge or your greatest asset. But either way, you will arise from this moment into the ascended presence of June, because this is all uncharted territory that's coming because of the Kali Yuga moment.
Yeah. The entire planet is embraced with all of the distortion of the Kali Yuga and the May issues. It's certainly no surprise that which could have the greatest propulsion, the greatest asset,
right,
simultaneously could implode into being the greatest challenge you've ever experienced, emotionally, spiritually, and in your life. So you're going to be witnessing a lot of this kind of polarity on the planet and in your friends and family as well. The point is that we all will work through it. We will all arise into a greater ascended presence. But remember, the Kali Yuga is when the truth is turned upside down.
Right.
People cannot distinguish between truth and falsehood. That's one of the number one markers that you're in the Kali Yuga. And the thing to remember is, as you lift in your own vibrational level, as your level of consciousness lifts, it becomes ever easier to discern what is authentic and what is BS, because there's a lot of spin out there. There's a lot of emotional energy that is spinned into an egoic, manipulative thing. And that's like, it's like the wind picked up some dust. As long as you are in your core, as
right,
long as you are in your authenticity, you
right,
can smile at all that nonsense and not be affected by it.
Absolutely. And so this core energy, it's very much like, let's put up another diagram, and then we're going to put up that diagram of the year again in just a moment. But this core energy, what you're gazing at here is kind of that eye in the center of the storm. We have arrived at our core moment. Now what you can see by that arrow that's entering into that core area is that we've made it, right? So
Yes.
So the good news is that May is, in some respects, this moment of regeneration. And we're going to talk about that, because April was very much this illusion, illumination, resurrection. And yet we were all battling to get post-April 16. And there has very much been the pre-April 16 and the post-April 16 world, so to speak. And so in May, we are all in the core moment. And when June comes, every being on this planet is going to be affected by the Ascension Frequency attunement that's coming in June. And we'll talk a lot more about that at the end of this month, at the end of May. However, for May, it is about the recognition that when you exit May, you can either jettison through the storm back into the divine creation energy of your life. And we're going to talk about this through the Pyramid of Spiritual Awakening. Or you're going to have to re-enter the storm. But either way, you will be prepared. Either way, you will be able to navigate it. Because sometimes we pull out. Maybe May is your moment to retreat.
Yes.
To regroup through that retreat, so that when you enter in June, you can really re-engage through that energy of the ignited wisdom. And, we've been talking about this a lot on our radio shows, and there is so much happening in May that we are going to be doing live weekly energy updates every single week right here at our YouTube channel, Official Sri and Kira, every Sunday live, noon Pacific time. You'll even be able to call in and chat with us in real time if you want. So you want to make a note, because we can't put everything in one video or you would just be mind blown, because that's how big this is.
There's a lot of content and there's a lot of understanding, so much so that we're preparing a class around this topic. It's important to recognize that when you enter into the center of the cyclone, so to speak, the eye of the storm, there's an opportunity there. There's a portal that you can transit and just bypass a lot of the turbulence. However, many of us in our journey, we're seeking a little more turbulence to help flush out the shadow, to help heal that which was unhealed, to help gather a sense of empowerment that I can do this.
Right.
So remember, in the battlefield of the Kali Yuga, so to speak, in this tension that's upon us, there are times when we need to retreat, regroup, and then re-engage.
Exactly.
And there are
this
times
is
when
that
we
month.
pop.
Right. And this is that month. And sometimes the retreat might just look like you're doing things a little differently. It doesn't mean that you've totally pulled away. It's just that you've retreated from the way you were doing things. Because remember that you are the blooming lotus energy that has emerged from that first cycle within a cycle that ended April 16th. You have emerged from that retrograde. So let's talk about having arrived at this center. And so it is a core energy. So what does that mean? Well, if you take C-O-R-E, and we're going to pop up a graphic right here for you, you will see that the C stands for the center. Well, what is that, the center? It is your center. It is that true essence of who you are. And then the O is the of, and this is very much about the of, the id, the who you are. And you'll notice we have there ikigai. We've been talking about the ikigai experience a lot, about the ikigai moment brings you to that sense of passion for living, that understanding of this is why I wake up in the morning, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is why I'm doing it. Well, that ikigai moment is what April produced. And if you don't know about the ikigai, please go watch our radio shows. As a matter of fact, right here at OfficialSriandKira, go watch the show just from Sunday, April 28th, and also watch our other show that we do every Saturday, Explore the Mysteries, and you can find those videos over at Oneness Talk Radio YouTube channel, and subscribe there as well, please, because there's so much information coming through. So we are in the center of this ikigai. And then the R is resurrection. Remember, that's what April brought forward. And this resurrection is very expansive. And we're going to show you the Pyramid of Spiritual Awakening and what's happening there, because this is very important to understand. And lastly, energy. So we are at the center of resurrection energy right now.
The C-O-R-E. And I just want to underscore something that you said.
Please.
You know, the center of. The of is the I am.
Right.
It's I am of the divine.
Yeah.
So I'm at the center of resurrection energy. This is the opportunity of May. This is what you can choose to participate with as a divine being, saying, I choose. You put in alignment the greatest potential.
Now, this is the moment at hand that the energy is going to express this core energy. Remember, this core energy, the center of the resurrection energy, is going to express itself in all ways. And when we really relax into the recognition that allness does not have any limitations upon it, we can sometimes start getting into a fear loop or a judgment loop. So my angels, remember this month, fear not, avoid judgment, and do yourself the gift of staying connected in those higher realms. More than ever, this is the month where how you navigate the core, if you can give yourself that gift of being the witness, witnessing the witnesser who is the witness of this world, I can share with you that is the only way I got through the April experience with Sri. I had doctors tell me a total of 6 times that my husband was going to die. And he was in intensive care longer, and I'd come back to the hospital and he's in intensive care and I couldn't find him. The only way I navigated that, even so much as offering an April video that I know was short, but if you took the time to really listen, had everything you really needed for April. There was a lot there. And we do apologize. We never put out the second one, but we had some stuff come up. But that's also partly why we've put this video out early, because this April illumination energy is very much saying that when we stay connected into the higher realms, you get to see what this experience is, and thereby it frees you from the vast polarities that are seeking to claim dominion over your brain. Now, this is why understanding how to navigate the Pyramid of Spiritual Awakening is so valuable this month. And I want to show you, we're going to pop up a graphic right now. Now, for this, we cannot teach this during this video, but what we do want you to recognize is you're staring at a multi-dimensional representation of the Pyramid of Spiritual Awakening. And This information is so important that Shri and I are going to be pretty much gifting to the planet a 2-session teleseries, a telejourney, live video telejourney with us about this, about ascension and the Pyramid of Spiritual Awakening, and how you can honestly manifest that gift into your life right now. So, hey, join us. That's going to be Tuesday, June 4th and June 11th at 5 p.m. Pacific time. It's a $22 Shakti exchange. Come join us. Tell your friends, because this is that moment where navigating the Pyramid of Spiritual Awakening allows us to remember that the energy flows have entered the multidimensional expansion, thereby adding fuel to all the experiences. And if you gaze at this right now and you look right up in the center where it says just above spiritual activism, you'll see that river of energy we talked about that came out late last year. This is also the moment, the Ikigai moment. The Ikigai moment has broken through and broken open. Now, what does that mean? It means that if you're lifting up into greater ascension awareness, chances are that you have already started another journey. You and Shri and I want to share this because we went through it ourselves. It is absolutely normal right now to be going through what we're calling the Trinity dark night of the soul, which looks like a dark night, a darker night, and a darkest night. However, this is a mastery experience.
Yes.
And we want to share this because you could be experiencing this.
And this experience is at the cusp of breaking into a much higher frequency.
To the top of the pyramid.
It's important to recognize that every one of us in our human lifespan have had our moments of despair or depression that we would commonly say, well, that was a dark night.
Right.
The key about a dark night of the soul is there's a disconnect moment. There's a moment of fear, a moment of, wait a minute, I've lost my way. I can't find my way.
Or I thought I was so far on my way. Why am I going backwards? You're not. This is actually an ascended sign.
And so the dark night of the soul usually has kind of a strong emotional component.
Right.
The darker night of the soul has got a depth to it. And the darkest night of the soul, you're dealing with the cleansing of the egoic remnants at the higher frequencies. And so this trinity of dark nights, you may have one, you may have all three. Everyone's journey is unique to their history and what they're needing to clear. But this occurs. This is a unique experience that occurs at the higher levels of the pyramid of awakening.
Yeah, this is actually occurring because you're ready to anchor into your ascension awareness. And so the key is to see the gift of revisiting this energy with your ascended presence. And it doesn't mean that everyone will do that. It does mean that if you can be awake to that, it will expand you. And so remember that this core energy is the energy that is calling forward all warriors of light to stand up and arise through the center of your resurrection energy and reclaim your true nature with peace, with love, with joy, because this battle is growing. And sometimes the wise general needs to stand at the greater horizon and make the decisions of what to engage and what not to engage. And so we want to put one more time, I want to put up there for you this full year graphic and just quickly want you to pay attention that if you look at April right there, you'll see we put that in purple. April was that illumination or illusion. It was that resurrection moment that in May has brought us to the core. Now, here's what's so important to notice, my loves. You will see on this graphic that from May to November, this is a huge expansion. It's a huge energy. And yet May, June, and July will stand on their own as their own fluid moments. However, from July until December, those energies for each month, they haven't shown me yet. They've only shown me as far as the June Ascension Frequency adjustment. So we are still in the creation as part of the May core acceleration. So this is a month to pay attention. Please join Shri and I every Sunday live at noon for your weekly energy update right here at YouTube. And check out joining us in this extraordinary program, Ascension and the Pyramid of Spiritual Awakening, learning how to journey in your multidimensional aspects, learning how to create. These are all the portals of creation that the core energy has ignited June 4th and June 11th during the month of the Ascension Frequency Adjustment.
Yes.
Come join us live. And for May, dive into your core, knowing you're in the center of that storm of illusion and creating within it. It's an ikigai moment. Where is your passion taking you? And are you ready to breathe through it? Om, Aum.
We are in 2019, the year of divine awareness, and this means the year of recognizing what is truly authentic, what is essential. And this commitment to your path, this transcendent capacity to be the witness of the witnesser, will help guide you through this amazing flow that we are sharing together. We're so delighted that you are part of this with us.
And we know that you are a master, that you are capable of creating miracles, and that when you allow your mind to relax, you will discover the greater mastery you've already attained.
We love you.
Namaste.
Namaste.